All right. Once again, I'm excited to see each of you on the call. And we like to start out by sharing what wins have you had this past week or two that we've been away from each other. Have you had any good success with some of the doTERRA products or business or things that you've been working on with your health?
Always.
Do you have a story to share with us, Sonia?
Well, I've had a cough throat thing going on for, I don't know, months. And I went back and decided I was going to use the flu bomb. Remember that? So I've been doing that, and that is helping a lot. So
to get rid of the cough?
The
mucus? Okay, good.
Yeah. I'm doing about 4 capsules a day, every 3 to 4 hours. So
And if
the over-the-counter stuff is not working at all.
It rarely does. So, just in case somebody doesn't know what the flu stands for, can you tell them what FLOO stands for?
I can't. What is it? Because I don't remember that. All I have is the little recipe.
So F for frankincense.
Yes. Okay.
L for lemon. O for on guard, and O for oregano. It's usually what flu stands for. And you put them in a capsule with some coconut or olive oil to help soothe it in your digestive system. And that's when people talk about a flu bomb, it's FLOO standing for the oil. So that's awesome.
The recipe I have is different. It's one drop of frankincense, 2 drops of oregano, 3 drops of on guard, and 4 drops of peppermint.
Oh, okay. So you do a floop.
Yeah. So a little bit different, but yeah, so it seems to be working.
Awesome.
Yeah, if it works, it works. That's all I care. So.
All right. Does anybody else have a story they want to share for?
I've started on the MetaPower.
Awesome.
And I've been on it for about 2 weeks now, I believe. And I think I'm noticing some improvement in my glucose and in my energy right now.
That's fantastic. How are you monitoring your glucose? Do you do a stick? Or you have a constant monitoring?
Yep. Constant monitoring.
Cool. That I've been wanting to see somebody's daily tracking of MetaPower and how that, if you were watching how you're eating compared to when you're taking it and how the spikes are over time during the day based on that. So that would be a fun thing for us to see.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing. All right, Jana, you have something?
Yeah, I have a couple things.
Okay.
One of them is on the MetaPower. So I was off of MetaPower I've been off of MetaPower for 2 weeks because I couldn't get the MetaPower kit coming in fast enough. So I had one of the other companies called Madeir, and I had a whole one. So I thought I spent $100 on that, might as well use it. So I can notice a difference. I've been using that for 2 weeks, and I can hardly wait to finish that one so then I can get back on my MetaPower. Right now I'm giving it to my husband, so he has a lot of energy and not eating as many sweets. But me, I'm like, okay, I need my energy back and I need my sleep back. Like, I know there's a difference between companies. So I'm glad that I've noticed this difference, and I wouldn't have if I wouldn't have been able to get it right away. So That's a big whoop whoop for MetaPower. And then the other one is my husband has a growth on his arm, and he's been using it now for almost 2 weeks, and it's almost ready to fall off. So that's the oregano that he puts on and then puts a Band-Aid over it. And yeah, he only does it 1 time a day, but it's working. Ready to fall off.
That's awesome. Good stories. Well, you know, sometimes we do, I like your first story because sometimes we keep thinking, well, you know, it's not that great. You know, lots of collagens out there, lots of different products out there. But I'm with you. Every time I've tried a competitor, just for a variety of reasons, I've always come back to doTERRA. The quality is just none. There's no comparison as to the quality of what I get from them. Awesome. All right. Well, I think we've given people enough time to get in. And so we're going to go ahead and congratulations, Sharon, for receiving your promotional products for helping people. So doTERRA does, if you don't see the chat, Sharon is telling us that she received a bubble diffuser and an oil for sharing the doTERRA products with other people. So awesome. Now, Rita is here and she's going to help me with this. She's really the expert in our topic tonight, but I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we are going to talk about frequencies. And this is a really cool topic for a variety of reasons. So, what is vibrational frequency? This is going to be a discussion. So what do you think about when you hear the word frequency? Go ahead and unmute and speak up what do you think about when you hear the word frequency?
Sound.
Sound, okay.
Energy.
Energy.
Electricity.
Sorry, Jana, you said electricity?
Electricity.
Awesome.
Kind of like electricity that goes through, like from your spine, the signals that go out to your body organs.
Perfect. You guys are all spot on. So what many people are surprised to learn about is that everything has a vibrational frequency.
Yep.
Including our bodies, the food we eat, the things we touch. These all are in a design of frequencies, and they discovered this when they discovered the atom, and the atom is what holds it's everything in its own design. So, which brings us to one of the secrets of the universe. Not only do our bodies have a measurable frequency, but it's actually possible to raise that frequency for our own improvement, for our better health, emotionally, mentally, so forth. So that's kind of cool to understand. Energy is another word for that people have used for a long time for frequency. But we want to think about frequency in a little bit different thought process. So in order to identify what frequencies are used to determine how far to drill for oil. Frequencies are used by fishermen to locate fish in a body of water. They're used for dog whistles that only a dog can hear. It's used through a metal detector or a biofeedback frequency like your Fitbit. Frequencies are used as you dial your radio, right? Which is what a lot of people think of when we turn to the frequency, right?
Mm-hmm.
Foods that are fresh from nature have a great frequency, a much higher frequency than those that have been cooked or broken into segments. So that is one of the cool things about frequency, is that it's used in everything, and you can determine what that frequency is. So plants that have been grown in their indigenous environment have a much higher frequency than plants that have been forced, like GMO, right? Or ones that have been tainted with chemicals. So everything has a frequency, and it's either high or low. And that's going to determine how it's going to affect you and each of our body functions. So tonight we're going to talk about the history and discovery of frequency, the proof of frequency, and you just saw some of it, right? Because you're familiar with these things. How we can tap into our frequencies, where you can learn more about frequency for your personal need, tools for scanning frequencies, because that's really the question. I'll say, how do I know? Tips and tools for better and higher frequencies, or solutions that's going to help you raise your own personal frequency so that you can feel better and act better. So let's start with this guy named Henrik Rudolf Hertz. And why do we know the name Hertz?
Autumn.
The car rental place.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Megahertz.
that's the car rental place is a name for sure that's probably named after him, but we normally hear because he's the father of frequency, and they've termed this big understanding of how to measure frequency of a megahertz, right? This is 1,000, or sorry, 1,000,000 mega, 1,000,000 cycles, or a hertz of a cycle of frequency. So this is pretty exciting, as he was researching over in Germany. Maybe Google him or search his information and just learn a little bit more about him. But he built the first radio, and he believed that virtually every life force involved electrical energy at some level. Every life force. So plants, animals, humans, right? Everything to add an organic basis. Our next person named Nikola Tesla. You guys, this name ring a bell? The car company is also
Yes,
named
it
after
does.
him, right?
Yeah.
Tesla was a genius, and he didn't get near the credit that he should have for all the things that he created.
Mm.
Agreed. But he is getting a little bit more well known because of Elon Musk, who named his company after him, and Tesla is becoming a household name. But if you research him, just like Sharon said, you're going to discover that he was, just as Hertz was, a genius. He really understood, and he even said, if people truly want to understand what the world is about, they need to study frequencies. And so, as we just mentioned earlier, a lot of times we interchange this word frequency with energy or vibration, but vibrational frequency is just one portion of frequency, which frequency is in all forms that we're discussing. So he discovered that frequencies could be broadcast, which is important. It can be broadcast to the air around us, affecting only the intended target. Why is that so significant in our everyday life right now? How many of you can live without a cell phone? Oh, good, Addie can.
I don't know. Would like
I
to.
would dare say that most of us cannot even fathom not owning a cell phone these days,
Right.
with all the things. And how do billions of people get their intended phone calls or GPS location or whatever it is that you're using your phone for? How can you specifically get that information for you and not somebody else? And that broadcast, right, that's out there is just amazing. The idea that there's that many frequencies available that can be broadcast in different areas, and you get the phone call and your neighbor doesn't. So this is what is so exciting about frequency as we study it, that Nikola Tesla discovered back in the early 1900s of electrical transmission. And electricity is not just a wire that carries an energy from one place to another. Electricity, as Jana mentioned, is in your body, right? Your heart uses electrical pathways. So there's a lot of different definitions of frequency, energy, and electrical pulses. So let's move into this guy, Albert Einstein. He got a lot of credit in the early 1900s as well for being such a genius. Okay, and his biggest known for is his theory of relativity. But he tells us that the future of medicine will be frequency. We also know somebody else. We don't have him in here, but who else understood the future of medicine? Hippocrates, right? The Hippocratic Oath. And Hippocrates understood, not necessarily in the words of frequency, but he understood the future of medicine would be food. Let food be your medicine and medicine be your food. And the food itself, that at the time had a very high vibrational frequency. And so he understood that this was what was creating real health, or it could create destruction in the body, in the cellular world, because of the frequency of such things. So we moved into technology, and technology is what makes the world go round. Would you agree?
For sure.
Because even if you go back to the days of the caveman, their technology improvement was the wheel, right? And they were able to move things and lift things and make their lives better and easier because of an invention called the wheel. So the technology, the ideas that I believe that God has given man over time to make their lives better and better and better, is all based on this understanding of frequency, and that technology is going to get more and more involved in our lives. And so this guy named Royal Rife, he actually took that information and he built a microscope, and he discovered that specific frequencies broadcast towards the body would destroy a microbe. So if you can measure the frequency of a microbe, like a parasite or something unwanted, and you can measure the frequency of a positive food or essential oil, or even a frequency that can be generated like electricity, and you can put those together, you can destroy or overcome the negativity, the bad microbes, right? With the positive, because it's higher and lower. And so he destroyed microbes that resonated that exact frequency and have absolutely no effect on anything else around it. So if you can measure those frequencies, would be really important. So when he discovered the microscope and we could actually see those parasites that were in the blood or the bacteria that was causing people to die. This was a huge technology shift. Exciting, right? And so this microscope got better and better and better to the point where they actually saw how the atoms work and how they split, and how a cell has receptors, and how each of these small chemicals that we can't see with our eyes are part of our everyday world. So the bacteria that are helpful and the bacteria that are not helpful could then be discovered. And so it just opened a world of so many different things. And it was so exciting to see through this microscope that Mr. Rife discovered. But not only did he discover the microscope, he actually then created what they called a Rife machine. And for many, many years, there were health practitioners who used this Rife machine that cost like $30,000 to actually measure frequencies in the body. And so this big, huge machine, it could measure frequencies in the body, and then they could help deliver frequencies. And it didn't get real popular with the Western medicine, you call it, Western medicine, because it didn't include chemicals. And you can't just sell frequency, right?
Yeah.
So it didn't mesh well with the pharmaceutical industry that we all know, and I know you're here because you agree with me, they are way off their game.
Yep.
They have lost the purpose of what their research is doing, and it's been focused on more harm than good, unfortunately. So the Rife machine was a very important discovery and was helping a lot of people. And then Dr. Paul Nagier,
Nagier.
how do you say it?
I can't read it. It's
Oh.
covered up with people's pictures.
Nagier,
Nagier. Okay, thank you.
Nagier.
I figured I'd pronounce it, not saying it right. This research scientist, he discovered when normal resonance, meaning if you have a healthy cell, it has a specific frequency or resonance, okay? When he discovered what the normal frequency is of a cell, he could then discover when it was out of balance. And when that normal frequency became out of balance, what usually happens?
Somebody got sick.
Illness occurs.
Yeah.
Illness, disease, right? So we know that this is absolutely true, because when we understand cancer cells, they are a cell that has become out of balance, and it starts to be destructive rather than helpful. And there's a lot of examples of this, but this was really important when he was building on the education of these men above him, and helped us understand, okay, we need to discover what the healthy value is, kind of like a pH balance, right? You have that in the middle, and then this way too bad and this way too bad. If we can help discover what that balanced cell is, then we can know how to put it back into balance, right? So we'll know what their measurements is. So this is frequency is how energy moves. It is the rate of vibration that occurs in the form of a wave. Now, some waves are really slow and big, like radio waves, right? Some waves are really small and fast, like cellular waves. Just like an ocean, you see big waves, you see small waves, sound, electricity, even your own energy. So can you describe your own energy? Have you ever felt depressed or slowed down? Or have you ever felt super hyped up or seen a child who's super hyped up?
Yep.
But somewhere in the middle, right? These energies are meant to be. Now, it's a movement, right? There's always going to be movement. Vibrations never stand still. But this energy that moves in so many different ways are touching us on a constant basis. We just need to be able to identify it. And I'm trying to help you wrap your brain around what frequency is instead of just woo, woo, woo out there. Like I used to think, energy, what? Right? And then when you started putting it together with, ooh, they have kind of bad energy. I don't feel safe around them, or I don't like their negativity, or their energy is way too happy for me. I'm not kind of that, bouncy, whatever.
Yeah.
So we can recognize energy on a regular basis. We just need to be able to term it the proper way. So frequency is going to be our new term for a lot of these different things. And every living thing has a frequency, remember, that is unique to them. Now, there's a lot of things that are measured that are consistent. Like they know what the frequency of a liver cell should be. And every human being has a liver. And so that liver cell has a frequency. But you individually might not match that frequency because of the things that you've done in the past or the things that are going on, right? Because every single one of us do not have the exact same chemical makeup or history. No matter who you are individual, and you cannot be duplicated exactly the same as everybody else as a whole. But as a slice of a piece of things, we have commonalities. We all have eyeballs. We all have fingernails. So those all have frequency that remember, he discovered that normal frequency. Then if you get a personal scan of your frequencies, you're going to have your own measurements. So your body is a magnificent energetic machine that requires an ongoing maintenance and calibration. Would you ladies agree with that?
Yeah.
So ongoing, every single minute of every single day, we are rechecking. Thank goodness our bodies are designed to have a natural movement, like our heart keeps beating, right? We don't have to think about it, give it mental energy. Our breathing usually, yeah. Our eyes blinking, a lot of times these are subconscious things that we are able to do, thank goodness, because of our design. But it requires maintenance. And so we need to be able to put our bodies back into into a positive or to a good balance of resonance or frequency. So every cell of your body produces an energy. It's called ATP. If it's too high, you feel hyper chaotic. You're not able to concentrate. There's just a lot of things that go on, right? If it's too low, you can't remember things. You feel fatigued, lethargic, confused. But when energy is just right, you feel centered and balanced. Have you guys felt this way? We all have, right? Yeah. And a lot of times we blame it on our hormones, like we talked about a couple of weeks ago. And our hormones play a part in it because they're chemical messengers that help create this frequency balance. So in this complex body of ours, which is amazing, we want to take this complex idea and simplify it as to, okay, I am a ball of energy. I have frequencies hitting me from all different directions and all different times. What do I need to be aware of? What should I focus on? How can I affect it? what do I need to do so that I can feel, because our ultimate goal is what's in it for me, and I want to feel just right. I want to feel centered. I want to feel balanced. There's times I want to feel really happy. There's times I want to be just relaxed, right? So we want to be able to find that space in our homeostasis, and everybody knows that homeostasis means we are centered right in a very healthy spot. Sometimes we shift to a high state of alert because we got a lot of adrenaline hormones and cortisol kicking through our bodies, right? We were worried about things or something, and we come back to the center again. And sometimes we're just in that digestion and rest section where you're just like, I just need to sit here and chill for a while and restore my body. I need to sleep. I need to just turn off everything and relax. Okay. But we always desire to come back to what we call normal. You guys on board with this?
Yep. Makes sense.
All right, so let's take this normal idea. What's normal for you and your individual frequency may not match what is a healthy resonance. Let's think about that again. What you consider normal for you may not match what is actually a healthy resonance or a healthy frequency. Why? Because we get used to it. We say, oh, it's normal. Oh, I have knee pain. Yep, it's normal.
Yeah, it'll go away.
No, it's not normal. That is just what you've become accustomed to, right?
Yeah.
So if you really want to get back into that centered, balanced frequency, you've got to understand what affects it and that you can actually achieve it. You have to have that belief that you can achieve it. We are not stuck in a body that is full of pain, that can't sleep, that is always stressed, that might have too much weight on it. We do not have to stay in that stuck mode. We can actually adjust it with different tools. And some of those tools we're going to talk about in just a minute. So, any questions so far? I know I've just thrown a lot of stuff at you. Let me just stop here for just a second. Rita, do you have anything to add so far? She's our expert.
You're doing great. Yeah, I'll pipe in if you said something out of line, but no, you're doing great.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. All right, so feel free to jump in if you have any questions. But let's continue on to how we can affect these frequencies and what tools should we be able to use on a regular basis that we're all familiar with. So within your healthy body, in a healthy state, there are over 120,000 different frequencies, right? Kind of like the billion different cell phones out there. So 120,000 different frequencies that they know of that they can measure in our bodies. Just think of all the different types of cells we have. Eyeball, hair, teeth, bones, muscle, heart, lots and lots of different things, right? And then inside of that, you have all the bacteria and microbes and water and all the foods. So there's just so many things that are involved in it. And so the men and women who have researched this are just amazing. And we'll talk about one of them in just a second. But these are frequencies that are the same in every person. Because the way that we are designed, your liver should have a frequency that matches my liver. Your eyeball should have a frequency that matches my eyeball, if they're in a healthy state. But if they're not, they're going to be off. Okay? Makes sense? So understanding vibration, energy is the building blocks to all of life. But vibration is how those building blocks move. the frequencies, both low and high, are vibrations. So vibrational frequency builds our muscles, our teeth, our everything. So if everything has a vibrational frequency, then the things we come in contact with can directly impact our body's frequencies on a regular basis. Everything we come in contact with has an impact on our body's frequencies. So what will be therapeutic for your bioenergetic system may be different than what's good for my system. So your particular energy vibrations at the time that you're scanning is going to be different than mine. So you might, so like right now, Sonia said that she's using the flu bomb because she has a cough. Well, I don't have a cough. So I'm not looking for solutions for that. I'm not looking for frequencies for that. But I do have a bunch of mosquito bites. And so I've been looking for solutions for avoiding those and fixing those, right? Which I've been finding. So the therapeutic or the solution to your particular energy needs or frequency needs are going to be designed just for you. So what types of frequency treatments are there out there? Well, here's just some examples. Now, the radio frequency or RF energy in the form of radiation or electrical currents, like a TENS unit, have been used in medical treatments for over 75 years. So they've been understanding that frequency in these forms have been helpful in certain ways, okay? There was also years ago a discovery of homeopathy, and they would take the frequency of a flower and they would transport that frequency into a sugar pill or some other form, and they would use it as a homeopathic remedy, right? So that was never, I could never understand how that worked. How can you take that? But it was an imprint of the frequency that was helpful onto a physical object that you could then utilize. And this has been demonstrated in a lot of different ways. I'm not going to go into that tonight, but it's been demonstrated in a lot of different ways. One of those machines, as we talked about, is the Rife machine. The Rife machine could read the frequencies and deliver the frequencies that that body needed. But it was a huge machine, $30,000 or more. Nobody can really afford to do that on a regular basis. So that's not, I mean, it's still used and it's a great machine, but it's not what most people are using today. There's another type of thing called binaural beats. This is basically sound. Have you ever listened to a music that makes you feel one way or another, good or bad? This is a huge part of what I love about frequency. Because if you take, let's for instance, a hymn, like a spiritual hymn, the frequencies, the music in those have always been designed to either soothe the soul, your spiritual frequency, that frequency that really talks to your emotions, or you can listen to a rock and roll that gets you all right hyped up. So there's sound has a huge impact on our frequencies. There's
The binaural
energy.
beats are
Sorry, go
the
ahead.
binaural beats are also called solfeggio frequencies, and so that is part of. Those are frequencies that have that specific name, and that was the person that discovered them. And the binaural beats are going in, usually they're two different beats that are entering through each ear that help to center things.
So it's
Go ahead,
been
sorry.
used, it's good. So it's been used
Yeah.
to help balance out through sound. Awesome.
Mhm.
And if you want to know more about the details of that, ask Rita or go research it. Energy work. People have been into energy work, right? Using energy as in Reiki or Psyche, or there's a lot of different energy works that people have used. But tonight we're going to think more about plants. Okay. This is what I'm passionate about. I love frequency. I love all the things they're doing. But we're looking for a solution on a daily basis that you have at your fingertips. Or it is the whole foods. The whole foods that have highest frequency, and the highest plant frequency comes in the form of an essential oil. So of course, we are focused on essential oils, and essential oils have a powerful ability to deliver frequency and create that healthy resonance in the cellular system of our bodies in a very short and fast period of time. Very effective. Why is that? So I'm going to jump over to a research. This is research that had been done by Dr. Gary Young. And most people know him because he actually started his own essential oil company years and years ago called Young Living. But Dr. Gary Young actually was a very smart man. He's no longer living. And he did a lot of research, kind of a father of essential oils for some people. He did a lot of research on the frequencies of plants. So this is a paper, and we're not going to have time to read all of it because I know we're running out of time. Well, actually, we might have time to read most of it because I usually give about an hour for class. But frequency is defined as a measurable rate of electrical energy flow that is constant between 2 points. Okay, everything has frequency. We already learned that, and if you want to read a good book, Dr. Becker called The Body Validates Electric Frequency. We already learned about Royal Rife, MD, and the frequency generator. We learned about Nikola Tesla and how he understood the broadcast of frequency. There's another engineer or scientist named Bjorn Nordenstrom. He was a radiologist over in Sweden, and he wrote biologically closed circuits back in the 1980s that were putting electrodes inside a tumor. And he ran currents through these electrodes and dissolved the cancer tumor and stopped its growth. Why aren't we doing that on a regular basis now? I don't know. He found that the human body had electropositive and electronegative energy fields. Okay. So, and as Dr. Young went through his practices of frequencies, he noticed with his patients that they were felt better emotionally when they first started to use essential oils. So he was able to help them faster because of essential oils. So for a number of years, he researched electrical energy for the purpose of reversing disease, but he kept feeling that there had to be more natural ways to increase a person's electrical frequency, which led him to the understanding of frequency of plants or electrical frequencies from essential oils. Now, it seemed that within seconds of people using essential oils, their congestion would begin to loosen through just simple inhalation of an essential oil. Certain plants and oils applied on a location would decrease their pain 50 to 80% within 3 minutes. Can you say the same thing about those narcotics that you swallow?
No.
You can't. The frequency is not there. So some even experienced a decrease in pain with just seconds. I could not have thought, he says, that an oil applied to the bottom of the foot could travel to the neck and reduce pain by 70% within 1 minute. He saw this happen over and over again, and he started to realize that there had to be other aspects and elements in the oils that needed to be researched. So he started to measure, of course, in hertz. They found that when you looked at processed food, canned food, it actually was dead, 0 frequencies. But fresh produce had up to 15 hertz. So that's good, right? Eating fresh food is really important. The dry herbs, depending on the food, was somewhere between 12 to 22. But a fresh herb was between 20 and 27. So why do we use our herbs in dry form so much? What are we missing from the fresh herbs if we dehydrate them or we dry them? We're missing the essential oil.
The oil.
Because the essential oil that gives that fresh herb its smell is also what gives it the therapeutic value. So if you want to use a dry herb to make your tea with or to flavor your food with, you have to use a lot more of it than if you used the fresh herb or the essential oil of that fresh herb. Okay? That's why we can take doTERRA's tested pure essential oils and add them to our foods, because they are pure plant and they are highly concentrated, so you only need a tiny bit and you can actually flavor your foods more like the actual herb. So when they started to measure the essential oil that had been extracted from those herbs and plants, the essential oils started at 52 hertz. That's even much higher than just the fresh produce itself. So it becomes highly concentrated because it is extracted and put into a highly concentrated, right? You bring it all together. And so it went from 52 all the way up to 320 hertz. So if you had 1 drop of a 320 hertz essential oil, that could do a lot of therapeutic value for your unbalanced cells, the ones that were out of frequency. So guess which plant that highest essential oil frequency comes from?
Rose.
Can you
Frankincense.
now? Sorry, go ahead.
Frankincense.
Frankincense has a really high one.
Rose.
But rose is actually the highest. And that is why pure rose essential oil is very exotic, right? It costs a lot of money to make and to have pure rose essential oil. So if you're buying rose oil for 20 bucks, do you really think it's pure?
Nope.
If you're buying frankincense for 20 bucks, do you really think it's pure?
No.
Nope.
Because the higher the frequency, the harder it is to extract that oil sometimes, the more rare it is. And so these oils are very powerful, and the healthy body from head to foot typically has a frequency ranging from 62 to 78. But the disease begins just at 58. So there's a very narrow window of our body being in range and needing assistance to stay in range or get back into range. So clinical research has shown that essential oils have the highest frequency of any natural substance known to man, creating an environment in which disease, such as bacteria, viral, fungus, they cannot exist because of the high frequency of these essential oils that we are using. When we have pure, tested essential oils that doTERRA offers, you're going to be able to have the optimal frequency that your body needs to eradicate or to eliminate the disease. Now,
Hmm.
am I saying, I'm not saying that I can heal you with just a drop of essential oils. I'm not going to cure you, not claiming that. What I'm telling you is that the frequencies that have been tested and known of essential oils that are pure, then they have a huge impact on your cellular frequencies. And so it takes time sometimes to find out which plants those are that your particular frequency in your body needs for your your symptoms at the time that you're being looking for a solution. Okay, so there's a couple of things here that was very interesting when he said, clinical research shows that essential oils have the highest frequency, but once in a while, individuals using an essential oil for the first time will say they broke out with a rash or had an allergic reaction. So many reactions are the body's chemical sensitivity kicking in and saying, protect me. However, when I worked with people with severe allergies, even universal reactors, once they understood that pure essential oils actually detoxify and help reestablish that cellular balance, they would calm down and realize that they were not having a negative reaction. It's amazing to see how we in America have become sensitive to things around us because those artificial and synthetic smells and chemicals that we become normal, right? Those candles that are normal, those air fresheners that are normal, and hospitals and schools say, oh yeah, you can do that, all the synthetic stuff, but oh, an essential oil, I don't think so. What?
Yeah.
We have become sensitive to these synthetic smells, and yet at the same time we are desensitized to the things that are killing us. The Cloroxes, the gasoline fumes, the candles that are synthetic, right? These are causing us the allergies. They are depressing our immune systems. They are creating the weaknesses and the diseases in our bodies, such as candida, Epstein-Barr's, these chronic fatigue syndromes, the hypoglycemia, on and on and on. It just goes from one level to level 6, manifesting different symptoms based on our frequencies. So, are you guys starting to understand how each thing has frequency, how we need to find the frequency that our bodies are in at the right now, and that we can have an effect on our body's frequencies on a minute-to-minute basis. So by example, every disease has a frequency, and that substance with a higher frequency will alter that disease to a lower frequency. It has been measured that holding a cup of coffee dropped one man's frequency from 66 to 58. Do you remember the level of frequency where disease begins? 58. So in just 3 seconds, he dropped his own frequencies just by holding a cup of coffee. Because that coffee has frequency, even though he didn't consume it at the moment, right? But it took 3 days for his frequency to return to normal, because the body wants to go back into homeostasis, right? So it does everything it can to shift it back. But it took 3 days. So can you imagine if we're drinking all these chemistries? And I'm not saying don't ever drink coffee if it's something you absolutely love, but I'm saying just be aware of it. Because we have so many people who are drinking diet sodas who don't recognize that the frequency of a diet soda is literally killing you. And it drops, and they can measure it. So after inhaling essential oils, his frequency returned to 66 in 21 seconds.
Wow.
So he affected, if he did nothing, when his frequency dropped, if he did nothing, the body naturally would return it. It took 3 days. But if he used an essential oil, it took 21 seconds to put his frequency back into balance. Amazing, right? So think about how many times you have been introduced to a virus or something in these last, not even just the last couple of years, but how many times you will and have been. What has dropped your frequency? And if you've used essential oils in your healing process, how much faster you heal. So I told my story, I think the last time we were together, about I got this spider bite behind my knee.
Mhm.
We were pretty sure it was a brown recluse, and that's a pretty dangerous bite. But immediately I started putting essential oil on it. And yeah, it was painful in the beginning, and you could see the center part of where he bit me and the round and the circle around it. But within days, it was completely gone. I didn't allow it to continue to fester and destroy all the tissue around it. I immediately changed the frequency of that by applying the essential oils, and my body healed itself. That's the difference between using on a daily basis your essential oils and not using them. So open a bottle and take a sniff, okay? All right, so just another note, studies have shown that our negative thoughts have lowered our frequency on an average of 12 hertz. Positive thoughts raise our average by 10 hertz. So prayer and meditation will raise your frequency. So essential oils and plants are not the only thing that will affect or help our frequencies. Essential oils, food, positive thoughts. And these are just some of the things. And if you would like me to email you this, this paper, and you can research it a little bit more, just go ahead and shoot me a text with your email on it. And my text, if you don't already have it, is 480-540-8014. 480-540-8014. And text me your email and I will email it to you. Okay? All right. So let's see in the chat. We tell people it's okay to take medications with black box warning. That means a possible side effect is very harmful. The dye in dark colored soda is deadly for our kidneys. Yeah, good stuff, Sharon. Okay. Let's go back to our PowerPoint real quick, which is
There she is. Now,
the disclaimer is this information is not presented to diagnose, treat, or cure, but there is a personal, there's some personal tools that I did not get pictures of, so I'm just going to stop share. There's some personal tools that can help read our frequency. So you can do a self-evaluation. Everybody, have you ever done muscle testing?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever stuck out your arm and people have pushed down your arm, right? Energy testing.
Yep.
You can do muscle testing, and this is reading your frequency. Okay. There's also in doTERRA, we have a couple of little machines, an iTovi that you hold in your hand, and it can read the frequencies, your biomedical frequencies, kind of like a Fitbit is reading your frequencies, right? How many times you took a step, how many breaths, how many heartbeats. So an iTovi can read your biomedical frequency as well, and it will match it with doTERRA products. So it'll help you say, hey, to get your body back into frequency, we recommend these at this time. But there's something even cooler now called an AO scanner made by Solex. And this frequency machine, Rita, are you still on? Oh, dang. I was going to have her show it. She is the expert on this new little personal device called the AO scanner. And it's just an app on a phone. So basically, I would show you, it would be on a phone, okay? And it is designed to read the frequencies through some earbuds of your body. And it reads the frequencies. Instead of holding it, it goes to here. And then it will deliver frequencies through sound, which is super cool because we don't do a lot of sound delivery for frequency. And so this is another fun tool. And if you're interested in learning more about the AL scanner, just go ahead and shoot Rita a text. She's the one that teaches people how to use that machine. And her number for Rita is 480-329-4595. So 480-329-4595 is Rita's phone number if you'd like to learn more about that particular machine. There is a monthly fee to it. So she offers, I think she offers scans if you would like to try them out. All right. I taught you a lot of things tonight. I hope you understand what frequency is and what frequency can do, and the power that the whole foods and essential oils, pure essential oils, can have on helping our bodies overcome these negative effects of, some people say, 5G frequencies. The negative chemistry that we're putting onto our body, the negative thoughts and anger that we're surrounding ourselves with. So we can offset all of these negative lower frequencies with these higher frequencies, simply just inhaling your essential oils, reading, being spiritual, right? Listening to good music. And if you want to understand your body's frequency, use a tool to test it and see where you're at and maybe where you need to go. Any questions for me now?
That was a lot. Good job.
Thanks for sticking it out, Addie and Sonia, Dolly. Glad you guys are here. I know there's a lot going on. I appreciate it.
So what do you use the rose? Tell me a little bit, just inhaling it or diffusing?
Yeah.
So I would suggest you go and you research rose essential oil on doTERRA. It has, and even off of doTERRA, because doTERRA can't tell you everything that it does, but it has amazing effects for skin.
Mhm.
It is known as the beauty oil back in the days of kings and queens. But it's also very powerful antiviral and very, very good with emotions.
Mm.
So.
Okay.
Good question. All right. Any other questions? All right, then I'm going to let you go tonight, and hopefully we'll see you in a couple of weeks for our next class. We won't have class next week, but we'll have class the following week. However, next Friday on the 18th, we'll be having our doTERRA Christmas annual social at my house in Levine, and I will send you each an invite through text of that tonight. Hope that you can join us. It's a lot of fun. We get to use our essential oils in a lot of different ways. So we're going to be doing the sensations of celebration, and we're going to be doing a lot of things that deal with our smell, our sight, meaning like how to wrap gifts and improve our sight, our touch, things that we can do to feel better, our taste specifically, right? That we're going to have a lot of different foods with essential oil, and there's some things that you can try out. So enjoy that, and you can invite anybody you'd like to. It'll be a fun night on Friday the 18th, and I'll text you a invitation that you can share with anybody you'd like to. Once again, thanks guys for joining me. If you're watching the recording and you have questions, please text me at 602-603-0224, 602-603-0224, and we can connect you with whoever shared this link with you. Have a great night.
Thank
You
you.
too.
Start the recording.